Just woke up from a nightmare I had. A nightmare that caused me to text my distant sister, who lives in a different state. If somehow you're watching this, sis, I love you. And I'm sorry I haven't texted you until now. Anyways, yeah, that's really the first time I've done this in a while, but yeah, about the nightmare. Some of my best ideas come from, like, nightmares and whatnot. And also other good, happy dreams, but also some weird ones. Wouldn't necessarily say good or bad, just odd. Anyways, I am this eighth sprite. I am cropping the top section because you do not need to see my work in progress fan art. You do not need to see my work in progress Toho fan art. Anyways, this I like had one of those nightmares H.P. Lovecraft had described to have been having. Mm. Yeah, I'm stalling because I don't know where to like start. Like no, it was not necessarily that shape. It was kind of like potato shaped, honestly. Yeah, yeah. If I sound like I'm not there, it's because I just woke up. Got a little, not necessarily frightened, maybe at the time, but then more so confused. So yeah, this is probably after texting my sister about my nightmare. Yeah, really could do that, and then wand it. And in various opacities, I could like make some random circles. I know. 32. No, not 32. 32 by 2. 16 by 16 would work. I need to like get like a circle. And then, sorry guys, I just woke up. I wanted to do more art content after last time I made a short of mine accidentally got leaked. So yeah, I wanna make art content to make up for this. I gotta like look up how to like place some of these objects. I forgot about this. Alright, Control B. And now I can like move to like here. I think I could, like, yeah, now I can make, like, brighter circles with it. I think, like, you could somewhat tell what this is supposed to be. Hold on. Okay, no, that's enough, like... Yeah, sure, we can have overlapping eye. No, that looks like boobies, Okay, yeah. And then a new layer once again. Assign brighter ones that are like... An even bigger, there's like a bunch of smaller eyes on the outside and then an even bigger one on the inside. A bunch of small eyes covering everything and a big giant eye. Okay, it was not orderly like this. When you're creating an eldritch monster, you don't want to make things orderly. You want things to be, like, indescribable. You want it to, like, drive you mad, which big misconception about Cthulhu. He himself don't make you insane. It's like more of like the concept of Cthulhu that makes people go insane. Like realizing here in like a bunch of years, nothing you do will matter. No one will remember who you are. And that, in my opinion, is madness, friends. Alright. Yeah, that's like enough eyes. Yeah, I tried to like use the mirror tool to like speed up the process, but then yeah, when you're making an eldritch monstrosity, you don't want it to be orderly with the details. I even use this as inspiration for the Chaotic Construct now I think about it. Now, 32 by 32, I wanna, like, do sort of like the same thing, make another circle. I usually, if I want to, like, regular circle, I usually do that and not, like, use a circle tool. Oh, that looks cool! That looks so cool! I like that pattern. I could, like, use it for some demonic sigil or something. I was saying I don't. Like, yeah, that's like, if I want a good circle, I usually do this. I don't, like, make. Actually, we could, like, detail this one. I could actually, like, detail this one, actually. Alright, think about it, yeah. Like the eyelids to like open up like this. And yeah, if I remember correctly, it was like... I'm starting to forget what the eyes themselves look like, so I'm just not going for accuracy, I'm going more for what I think would look cool. Because yeah, I'm starting to wake up. Starting to regain consciousness. But yeah, the green and yellow, they're like two complementary colors that... So yeah, I like this yellow here with the green. And like we have like this. And then we have red. Possibly a darker red. Make it bloodshot, kinda. No, that's bloodshot. Okay, now this just looks wrong. Yeah, that's probably bad. That's part of art. Is like you gotta experiment before it looks decent. Thinking like I drew in a high detailed eye before. I was like trying to get Nightshade and then train AI models off of the Nightshaded art. To all those AI bros out there, I am not sorry. I don't regret that. Even if I ended up failing because of my operating system. I think I'll... Yeah. I think it's just best to leave like this bottom part like right there green. And then the shading. I usually do for shading is what everyone should do for like shading. For the outline, I usually like get this and simply darken that. Which I will probably have to make the outline darker, but that's not something you want to do for shading. You want to like, let's say we're like, an example would be like, let's say we're using this color as your main color, as like the main color. If you want it to be brighter, okay, bad example because it's like this tan. Like you want brighter tan, you're gonna have to go to the color. I'll play with this, okay. So, I like increase saturation and decrease hue, and bring it closer to the color source. In this case, I'm thinking red. So yeah, just usually it would be yellow, but in this case I'm thinking red for the light. And then to make it darker, you want to do the opposite. Increase hue, decrease saturation, and then bring it away from the light source. So in this case would be closer to D. I would say yellow, but like the opposite of red in this case would be this cyan color. But yeah, that looks so much cleaner than, like, say, just darkening it and, oh, and lighting it. Yeah, it looks like some very like actual color. But anyways, these are not. I am not using tan for this creature. I am using mostly greens. And I'm thinking like maybe like, oh yeah, a sprite. If you want to change the color at any time, you can like do that pretty easily. You just do that. Make secondary color the one you want to change it to. Then select your primary color. Control Shift R. Control R. Shift R. Yeah, Shift R. Okay. And then you change the color. And that Shift R, and then yeah, you change the color. Now, in this case, I usually make the shading darker. I use only 2 tones, unless it's like on different material like metal. I go based on the material. Stuff like metal, crystals, whatnot. I might make it do something else based around that, but yeah, I usually like. Yeah, I always have the secondary color as like. What's that color? I always have the background color as in some. Hold on, as I said, I just woke up. I'm trying to create this thing the best I can. I just remembered these eyes were red. Red is also a good color. Maybe for the secondary eyes, but many eyes could be like yellow. Maybe for all those secondary eyes, I could make them red, orangish red, but many eyes could be yellow. Fuck. Anyways. I forgot what I was even talking about. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I forgot about what I'm talking about. Alright. Now I want to remove this, like, light source. Want to determine where the light source is coming from. Let's say, like, in the dream it was like, I was like in the middle of nowhere, so I'm just thinking like, either the light could be coming from the moon, which is, I'm depicting as like a blood moon. Or I could, just, yes, stoplight. Which then the red would not make sense, but, yeah, anyways. Entire bottom half, plan to be part of the shaded part, and then, shade is going to be like, think about something like You wanna, when you wanna reference your light, you don't have something to reference, you just put something there for a note as like what color you want the light source to be. Do that. And, like, depending on the size, I usually add this checker pattern. Seems stupid, but like this is dithering in it. Adds this sort of like mid-tone to your art. Alright. Now I can like select this. Control B. Now I got the eye. And no, not that. Okay. Now with this eye I was gonna like I'm just realizing that 32 by 32 was probably too big. That's like half the whole canvas size. Oh, this could be like a new lesson. Like 32 by 32. To fix this, you don't want to go here. Sprite size 24 by 24. What? It distorts it. Okay, the this right here itself is like it like it's mostly passable. Well, for the most part, it looks AI generated. But yeah, that's exactly why you don't want to do it. Instead, I'm gonna take the original art as a reference. And then remake it on a smaller scale. I think more like that. just thought of that, but you know what this kind of like reminds me of? It like kind of it's like kind of reminds me of this of Zero from the Kirby series. One of the Kirby series' major antagonists in the early days, along with like Nightmare Wizard and Marks. And it's something I'm surprised did not get censored. Oh, and here, dithering. Not always a good idea. And like, if there's like little, some could find a way around this, but if there's like little space to like add the checker pattern, I just don't bother. But yeah, doesn't this like look so much better than this? Yeah, doesn't this look so much better? We'll breed this. I don't know. Let me like get this so like I can like center it. No. Okay, just learned it was a bad idea to like do it like that. So instead, I gotta like center it some other way. Okay, is that good? Oh yeah, that's centered pretty good. All right. Crap. And to do that, I'll know later. Oh, you're gonna see much later. This is not just like a Lovecraftian entity. This is also gonna probably like remind some people of some biblically accurate angels, biblically accurate Cthulhu. See this? I just like do that and move if it's uncentered. I not centered. Well, remove them, and now we gotta like it's like eyes, and yeah, just let me make some reference for these eyes real quick. They're gonna be like more of like a lime yellow, I imagined. Okay. Like this sort of have like feminine eyelashes. This one I'm just not gonna have eyelashes and to make it appear more masculine. Part of the unknown is that you don't even know what gender it is. Like this purple. Yeah, I'm experimenting. Is this from a dream, by the way? Did I mention this was from a dream? I'm just, like, experimenting. But yeah, that's part of our figuring out what works and what doesn't. And remember, if you use AI, then it will never work. Yeah. While still being like slime, anyway. Yeah, this looks better. So it could improve, but okay, that's the same, like, general color. Yes. There we go, I got something distinct. Yeah. Let's sort of say, like, put like. Okay, do not have the symmetry tool on, Will. Oh, a sprite does not come with a symmetry tool, so I forgot how I activated it. I found like a forum online. Where's the... Yeah, like I found a forum online to like help me get the symmetry tool active. I'd recommend you do the same if you... Or, actually, could put this in the description. Then again, I did not make this video to be a tutorial. I made this video to show my the process of my artwork, and part of this process was... I don't know, that's just a darker shade, I mean. Like, bring it to teal. Right now, get the brush. I could like replicate it each time, but then I realized this would be like easier. And in here, I'm just gonna like simply darken the main color. Darken the secondary color. And then darken the outline. And that's part of the outline. Because like then Yeah, it's like you tell like these. It kind of looks like less cluttered like this. Of course, you like want to look at them. You know, this. Not that one does. And then one more time. Darken this. Darken this. And then darken this. That's a good way to do like leaves. I think I did Control C instead of Control B. I don't know what I press. I meant to push Control Z since I misplaced one of the eyes. And then yeah, that's basically yeah. Just really dark shade this gray. Probably dark. I would outline it, but I think it'd be better if I outline it. Yeah, I was like, all I remember is like being a car in the middle of nowhere with my. I might do this for like a background. Yeah, it's basically it's pretty much good enough, except for like there's like some like. Of course, with every Eldritch monstrosity, you want to add some tentacles. But these I remember like being small, almost unnoticeable tentacles. I could use this for some other on projects. May even inspire a chaotic construct off this. I've been struggling with that design, even trying to commission an artist, which I might go back to doing that since I spoke with my mother about it and she doesn't care what I. As long as I don't overspend my budget, she doesn't care what I buy with my money. Which seemed contradictory to me, but like, whatever. Oh. If you see my Twitter... Well, currently there's no art there because I didn't brand any of it, so like, it's easy for people to steal it and claim it as their own, but like, if you've seen my Twitter wall, it was up there. Who would have seen, like, tendrils for, like, Susie and Amy? I don't normally shade tendrils. Tentacles are a different story. Because, like, how I see tendrils are, like, these magical things of energy. Could be positive or negative energy, just energy. When you think energy, like, think electricity, but no, there's just... I'm sort of, like, talking about magical mana-like energy. Like, fantasy type energy. And I'm talking out of my ass because I'm tired. Yeah, this. I try to make, like, sense of these tentacles being similar size, but, like, with eldritch monstrosities like this, it doesn't matter. Gotta make them, like, some of these tentacles could be really short. Okay, like, add a wave to that. But yeah, some of these tentacles could be really short, and then others could be, like, long Jimungo. Like this one. But yeah, probably... It wasn't even my car I was in. It was like a blue car. Sort of like the inverse of my car. It's like the teal I mentioned earlier. Okay, no, that one's consistent. I don't want... Consistency is the enemy of the spaghetti. Yeah, I think that's what the tendrils... Not tendrils, tentacles. As I mentioned, tendrils are like energy tentacles. Tentacles are, well, tentacles. Now, as mentioned before, no real good place to put it. If there's something over here that you could, like, use as reference for where the light source would be, I would use that, but I don't currently have that. So I'm just gonna put a red sun-like thing right here. Yeah, there's no real easy way to color things if you color these tentacles if you drew them the way I drew them. Ideally, you'd want to make the inside first and then outline it. Especially if you make this many tentacles. Yeah, I saw my YouTube post. Okay, this. There's a difference between like weird and then just impossible. Which Lovecraftian horror seems impossible, but still. Anyways, see my community post on my YouTube community post. I did mention that I wanted to like create a monster hunting game similar to like Bloodborne. I could use this as the final boss of that. Or maybe just a major boss. So many possibilities. So, circumference is like harder to do, but like hard to like do spherical objects, but like only I like to this corner and then away from that corner be this, and then these side corners would like melting into that. Yeah, I'm just realizing I'm messed up on some of these. Yeah, just especially this one. It went into the outline. Yeah, some of these I might have like messed up on. Normally, like if you're doing darkness, it'd be like closer there, and the light would be out there. There's a whole tutorials on lighting. I've seen like many tutorials help me with pixel art. If I find any good ones that I've used, because I don't remember any of my mentors, but if I find any of the good tutorials that I've used in the past, I will make community posts, or if I bring up something, I'll put in like a description. There we go. Like, light. If it doesn't look like it's gonna be able to reach, like, I don't think I will be able to reach this one. If it doesn't look like it can reach, when I, like, do the darker shades and lights, and then tentacles, I usually, like, don't add midtones don't add light and dark to the same tentacle. I usually do light and midtone or then dark and midtone. Oh yeah. Now, like merge all these layers down, and then there goes the monster. Um, yeah, now I want like add like some roads. Like a road. Yep. Look at that road here. And like soil here. This kind of soil. Right now, the red was part of this layer. Like some grass to like some of this grass like part of the road because like yeah, it's grains. Based off the road I drive pull up into when returning from work. Or really any other errands. And I just that one. the size to be like consistent with this. I just remember that I could like Control B and then yeah. Yes. Yeah, I feel like it's like a size too big. Yeah, that's like a little more realistic. They're like behind here. This pole. I want this pole to be like I don't know, I guess like I get like 3. Just do that with thing. This background and then just no, not bruh, not bucket. I like this to be like where. Yeah, that's like barely visible. Okay, yeah. Okay. Now just like like back to default. So then this. Discord. Yeah, luckily that was like Discord friend also uses Ice Sprite, so yeah, just notified me that they're doing that. haven't been paying attention to the street lights until now. I kind of like messed up with this. Simple fix. Now this is like. Nope, stop doing that. Like that. And since this is like metallic, an even brighter color. I'll make it this color for now, change it later. I don't know. There's something like this, I usually try to hide it, which, as I mentioned, it's like this teal car I mentioned. Car. Yeah, no, I've not drawn a car before. Spirit Sisters doesn't have any cars. Never had a reason to draw a car before, so I'm just gonna take the easy way out. Yeah, it's just gonna be. Sorry, I've never drawn a car before. Haven't drawn a car since like kindergarten. Or something. Try to draw that. That's like a 2-foot car. And then I like save it, which by that I'd go sprites, and then I'd increase it to 1600%, and then that makes it bigger. If you don't do this, it'll end up being small.